All right. We are live. What's up, everybody? Happy afternoon. Tuesday afternoon, actually. The week's already going by fast. So, my name's Kevin Daisy. I'll be your host. Welcome to another live recording of the Managing Partners podcast. I also am the founder of Array Digital, where we help law firms fill their pipeline. We use digital marketing, websites, social media, online advertising, and SEO to get that done. So, if you need that kind of help, please reach out. Let us know. But we're going to move on to our important guest. We got a great story to hear. Prince Williams, thanks so much for being a guest today.
Thank you so much for having me, Kevin. I really, really do appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I just like to always jump right into it. And, for all the attorneys watching now, later, listen to what he has to share. And looking forward to hearing your story, your journey to kind of, getting to where you are. And hopefully someone can pick up a little nugget. They can, use that to help them grow their firm. So without further ado, just tell us your story. Like, at what moment were you like, I'm going to be an attorney and I'm going to go to practice in law, all the way to I'm going to do this for myself. So,
Okay.
What you got?
Cool. All right, awesome. So, for me, like a lot of other lawyers, I was one of the people that were in that group that I wanted to be a lawyer since I was a kid, and a lot of that came about, when I was younger. My grandmother used to always say, my baby gonna be a doctor or a lawyer.
You had two options.
Right. I had two options, doctor or lawyer. But what it did for me is it kind of put on my radar early in life that there were some professions that were looked at favorably and there were some that were not. Coming from the South, I'm originally from Fort Worth, Texas. Okay. And so that's kind of, what you see a lot in the South, everyone pushing their kids to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, and things like that. So, when she first suggested it or just kind of kept saying it, I think at some point I decided to own it, So I think initially I wanted to be a doctor. So I went to college with that in mind. And then I guess specifically I wanted to be a psychiatrist because I was very interested in psychology, how the mind works, very interested in mental health issues and how they show up in different people. So that was kind of the goal that I was kind of going to initially. Oh man, ran into that first biology class and realized that science, med school was not going to be for me. So I ended up taking the lawyer route, and a lot of that had to do with the fact just kind of looking at what they did. A lot of reading, a lot of writing. Those are the areas that on some level I had a strong suit in. I was always very into creative writing. In grade school, I always got comments from teachers about how well or how creative my stories were. And even at a younger age, I loved reading. I've always been an avid reader. A lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm the only child. So, a lot of times to entertain myself, a good book would do the job.
You didn't have an iPhone?
I did not have an iPhone. I didn't get my first cell phone until like my senior year in high school. And I swear to you, that phone was about like
brick.
Yeah. It was super heavy, and I had the situation where I could only use a certain amount of minutes. So yeah, long way from there. And so yeah, man, I kind of decided that I wanted to be a lawyer, and I stuck with it. So along the path, that's what I was committed to. To be quite honest with you, I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that it had been fed to me for so long at a young age, I really couldn't think of any other options of what I wanted to do. And so I just kind of stuck with it. And even along the way, I may have saw signs that, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. But I stuck with it because, again, I didn't have any other options that I could think of. The other thing that really...
on grandma.
Yeah. The other thing that really kept me on it was the fact that, I come from an area where a lot of people don't necessarily go off to college or go off to professional school. And so I was one of the few people that were talking about that. But I think what really motivated me was I did have a small group of people that probably didn't think that I would kind of go all the way with it, or they had doubts about how far I would go. For me, that's always been motivation for me. And it's been one of the strongest motivations. When I look back on my life and everything that I've accomplished, I realized that certain aspects of that was me kind of proving the naysayers that no, I can make this work and watch me do it, you know?
Yeah,
So
that's always great motivation for me.
yeah. And so, I just kept through with it. Another reason why I was very strong about being a lawyer was that I liked the way lawyers were depicted on the TV shows and the movies. Lawyers always had this level of respect from the community. They always were very excellent problem solvers, very good with strategy, and they dressed really well, and I like that about them. So, I that kind of motivated me as well. But along the way, like most lawyers do, they find out that reality is much, much different than what we have in our minds of how this profession is and what it's supposed to be and how it works. So I got to law school and I kind of got a firsthand glimpse of like, oh shoot, this is being a lawyer. This is
real.
This is real, yeah. But one of the things that really disgruntled me a little bit was I could see initially just kind of, in a lot of ways, how archaic the legal system is. I also saw how everyone was doing the exact same things the exact same way, and they've been doing it from the beginning of the practice of law in the United States. And so I've always wanted to kind of bring my own energy to whatever that I do. And so initially I saw it as a brick wall or a block, but then I kind of went back to my roots with my creativity and decided that, okay, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to go out and be the stereotypical lawyer or what is expected of me. I'm going to show up and be the kind of lawyer that I know to be. And I mean, I don't know how to be a lawyer, right? I mean, at the time, but I knew early on that there was something about being true to yourself and authenticity that was going to take me a very, very long way. And so that was kind of what I focused on throughout law school. And, going into law school, my plan was to always start my own practice straight out of law school. And that's exactly what I did.
Excellent.
A lot of that had to do with the fact that I also learned early on, of course, from reading a lot of self-development and self-help books. It caused me at a lot earlier age than what a lot of other people to evaluate myself, to self-reflect. And I learned early on that like I am not the employee type of person, I think I mentioned before in a couple of my other videos that, I've worked over 40 jobs, and every last one of them, me and my immediate supervisor would bump heads at some point. And so I just knew I could not work for anyone. So that was my goal, to work for myself. And of course, I had, again, a lot of naysayers, which they had no idea that was motivation for me. And I had so many people telling me, you're right. I had so many people telling me, you should go clerk for a judge first. You should go work at a firm first. You don't know what you're doing. You're making a big mistake. I heard all of it. And for me, it was that caused me to just buckle down and be like, you know what, I have to make this work and do it right. And so, yeah, and that's what kind of led me to where I'm at now.
Excellent. I love it. And it's, it seems you've kind of gone through those transitions. Like, I love the whole story where, it was kind of baked in your mind. And so you're like, so I gotta go do this. Which, I think when I was coming out of school and college, or out of high school where I'm from, no one really goes to college that much either, and it's just a small area. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So, I wish I had someone being like, "You need to go do this," but we kind of each have to find our own path. But so, that's great motivation when someone says, "I don't think you can do that." Like, oh yeah, okay, bring it. We're gonna go.
Right.
So, I love it. So give us a little background on the firm. What are you? And you're in Bethesda, Maryland. So, what kind of areas do you focus on, and which practice areas are you specialized in?
So right now we're focusing on DUI and criminal defense and personal injury.
Okay.
I initially started out doing criminal defense and family law. Well, honestly, I started out doing family law. And the reason for that was because starting out on my own, I needed to get in-court experience. I need to get, in front of judges, hearings, trials. The easiest way for me to do that coming out was in family law. Why is that? Because as you already know, there's always domestic issues going on. There's always someone wanting to be paid child support. There's always couples ready to, split it up. And there was always work there. And I actually went through, it was like a family service pro bono program in Montgomery County that catered to people who needed domestic lawyers. And that's kind of how I started initially getting in court through that way. Soon realized that I hate family law. I hate it a lot. And so I had to quickly pivot, in which I always did, criminal defense. So I decided to specifically niche down with my marketing for DUI services initially. The reason why I did that, of course, when I first started my own practice, in order to kind of beat that learning curve, I had to read a lot of books. And some of the books that I was picking up initially were books on marketing. Everything that I picked up on books during that initial couple years was on marketing. And one of the themes that a lot of the marketing books were saying, and a lot of the big marketers that you may hear about, is, niching down. And so niching down for me was kind of what I did. It also helped that I did like a coaching program with Arjan, how to manage a small law firm, something like that.
Yeah. Great group.
Yeah. So they also pushed the idea of niching down. So niche down with the DUIs. And then maybe like a year later, we started to market a little bit more for the personal injury services. So that's kind of where we are now. DUI, personal injury, and criminal defense. DUI, personal injury, and criminal defense. Yep.
Excellent. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. How to Manage, a great group. We have quite a few clients that are actually members of HTM. So yeah, great group. Niching 100%, being focused, being an expert, especially specializing. We niched in working with law firms. So back when we used to work with anybody, and you can't really learn the industry of 30 different industries and get really good at it. So it's absolutely, you got to find your niche. I think that's very important. And I've had some really great guests on here that have really has a lot of success by niching, and even find like another like niche within that. Like I had a attorney on recently. She does wills and trust for women. So like that's like a super niche, So, and that was kind of interesting. Like she will work with men, but their marketing, their direction is trying to get in front of women.
Exactly.
So yeah, all kinds of different types of people that, but the nichers, the ones that niche, I've seen the most success with. And at least that's how I think you should start. There's big firms that they now have departments for like everything, but you can't, I don't think, you can't start just saying, well, I'll take anything you can throw at me.
And you know what, man, that is the biggest misconception. I talk to a lot of law students and recent grads who want to, kind of go out and start their own thing. And I think, the problem that new practicing attorneys run into is this idea of, I want to do my own thing, but I also have these bills to pay. right? And so what they end up doing is they take anything that's referred to them. They take anything that they think that they can figure out just based off the fact that they know how to comprehend some words, right? But I've found that you can find yourself in a lot of trouble by doing that, or not even just trouble, but just very frustrated, because it is going to be a steep learning curve. And especially if you're not the type to be willing to reach out and find help. I know a lot of times, especially, and this goes back to this whole idea of what it is to be a lawyer. I think a lot of people that come out of law school, they have this misconception that lawyers are supposed to know everything. They're supposed to look like and act like they know everything. And so for a new lawyer to try their hand at something, I don't think a lot of them want anyone to know that they don't know. So they fake it till they make it. Which can cause a lot of problems, in the long run. So yeah, it's definitely something that I think a lot of new attorneys should definitely try out. And, the biggest thing from that is just really having faith, right? That things are going to work out, and that you will be able to make a living off of the niche that you created for yourself.
Yeah, and ask for help when you need it. And don't be afraid to connect with other lawyers, have referral partners. So 100% agree. I think that's a great message for anyone watching is find out where you want to be, where your niche is going to be. Yeah, I've got to pay bills, and sometimes you might take something that's a little outside, but can you refer it to someone else? Maybe get a feedback from that person, from another attorney. Maybe they'll refer work that they don't want to you. So try to stick to your niche as much as possible, because kind of what you just said. And I was there when I first started. I was just doing websites and SEO, and for anybody, this is back in 2006, so it's been a long time ago. But you just all kinds of projects, different stuff, everything's different, and there's no consistency. But then you just start to get buried with all that, and you can't really start to focus on what you want to, because you're in the weeds, and so now you're just stuck, and then you're like, I don't know how to even get out of this. So. That can be dangerous as well. So yeah, good tip from Prince there is just, figure out where you want to be. And I think, I've had a lot of stories on here where, like you said, you were doing family law to get a start, and then you just found out that's not a fit for me. And then you kind of got into where you want to be. And so I've had a lot of attorneys on here, a lot of managing partners that had that similar kind of path where they went from different practices, worked at another firm, or even one I talked to you earlier, they had a different type of firm, immigration, that they grew very rapidly, but got out of that and then went into family law. And so, it's just, you got to really figure out where you want to be. And sometimes that might not be the first choice that you pick.
Yeah. Maybe the third or fourth choice. Yeah.
How many law practices are there? Quite a bit. So excellent, man. So tell me, so you've done some marketing. I saw your website, and also everyone, I put the website link in the comments. So go check a look at avidlawfirm.com to learn more about him and his practice and see what he's done. He's got some cool videos on there and things like that. So what are some of the marketing you've done, some things that you've done that maybe are unique or different that have helped bring in clients? So, what's working for you right now that's getting clients in the door?
Great question, man. So what, for me, man, I am actually in the middle of just reevaluating and revamping how I do marketing. COVID really did a number for a lot of us, right? But for me specifically, it really caused me to sit down, have a seat, and do a lot of reflecting, right? And so I started to just kind of look at how I have been marketing and kind of what is going on now in as terms of marketing is concerned, and not only just in the legal profession, but just other professions as well too.
Yeah.
So in the past, what I think has really, really worked for me was when I first started, I think there wasn't a lot of attorneys that were doing a lot of videos. And so I was kind of one of the first attorneys in my area to make videos. And that was really, really, really cool, because my video guy, Jelani, is a really cool guy, really creative, and he loves what he does, and I think before he was doing like, music videos and just different fashion editorials and stuff. And so one thing that I like to do is I really, really love to work with other passionate, creative people and people who are trying to start their own movement. And, I got in contact with my video guy right when he was just building his thing up too. And so it worked great.
That's good.
And from that, I think, just us collaborating, what we decided to do is we wanted to make videos, but we wanted to make them very different and very unique, not like anything else that any other lawyer was doing. And that's kind of what we did, I remember, like I said, when I came into this profession, I wanted to just kind of bring my own flavor and do my own thing with everything that I do, from how I service clients to even how I market. And so a lot of the videos that we did, we were able to mesh in lifestyle issues with the law. And, I've gotten great feedback from a lot of people, and especially specifically this idea that the videos seem to be very motivational and inspirational for them. A lot of that was done on purpose. I've been in court and I've seen, I just watched how lawyers interact with their clients. And there was a few times I was in court and I was just surprised at how, I don't want to say disrespectful, but just uncaring that the lawyer seemed. He was talking to the client like he was talking to a child, come over here. And, just very, as if the client was just a commodity. What I know for sure is most of the time when people reach out to a lawyer, they're terrified, they're scared, they're nervous. A lot of times, especially with the areas that I deal with, these are usually first times that they've ever gotten a DUI or been charged with a criminal charge, or even getting into an auto accident. So there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of fear. And the last thing they need is a lawyer on the phone with them condescendingly describing to them what's going on in these archaic legal terms that they have no idea what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted my videos and my marketing to show that, one, we care about the being of the client, not just what you're going through, but the emotional aspect, right? Because what we soon learn and find out about life is that everything has an emotional aspect to it. And that's what really grinds our gears, if you really think about it. And so just really trying to find a way to convey that energy through our marketing, and not only just conveying it through the marketing, but, following up with that when we actually get in touch with the client or the client actually reaches out to us. So to answer your question, the videos that we started doing with the lifestyle component really, really, brought in some clients, and it still is.
I love it. I love it. And is there a place that viewers can check out the videos?
Yeah, we have them on the website at www.avidlawfirm.com and Avid Law Firm YouTube channel.
Okay.
So you can just go to Avid Law Firm, and all the videos are up there as well. So yeah,
I'm gonna check those out myself. Oh, is it under media?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna check those out myself. Yeah. So I think, I mean, all those things are super important, and showing the customer that you care, and I think through video it's so great because they get to see you, meet you almost as they get to know you. And I've definitely had clients that we've received as clients that say, "Oh, I've seen your videos for like a year, or I followed you on LinkedIn or social media or whatever," and they're ready to sign on with us. And they're like, "Yeah, it's like I know you." It's like never talked to them before, and they know that, and they're like, it's kind of weird, right? But they're ready to move forward with us. They've got to know us enough to just make that decision. And so I think that's pretty interesting and powerful. And I love it every time it happens. It's not like an everyday occurrence, but
the thing now is video is becoming really popular now. I mean, video is very popular now, right? And so, but I still think that especially with lawyers, we all have to be careful about how we make those videos, right? One of the things that I'm always conscious of is who is my focus in my videos, right? So in my video, is my focus me, the lawyer? I'll fight for your rights. We've won all these cases. We win $1 million, like, is that the focus, or is the focus on the problem of the client, right? And so I just, talking to my clients, talking to just people in general, people don't like the self-boasting attorney. People don't like videos, advertisement like that. It rubs them the wrong way. And a lot of times people will not even know what it is about the video, but it just won't sit well with them. Usually that's what's going on. You have a lawyer who is more concerned about you knowing that he is a lawyer, as opposed to letting people know that, hey, I'm here to help you in your problem.
Yeah, no, I love it. And that's really, I think, for us, that's our clientele for the most part is going to be exactly like what you're talking about. And like, we're not producing like screaming crazy ads. And it's really more, I'm just saying our clientele is just more about the customer that they have, their client. That's who we're focused on. From when we're marketing for our clients is how do we, help solve the problem of your client, not you necessarily, because that's how we bring you clients. And so how do we do that? Then, yeah, you have to convey those messages. You have to make them feel comfortable. And sometimes in some of these cases, they don't have much time. They might need to call someone today, and they have a few choices to make. And so if they are exposed to your brand versus someone else, that's just touting how many, cases they've closed, and they get rubbed the wrong way, then, more chances are going to call you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. No, great tip. Yeah. If you're doing videos, I think videos are huge. And, we've had tons of guests on here that are crushing it in different spaces, Instagram Reels or Facebook or TikTok, you name it. I've seen success everywhere. And I think, everyone finds their own little place that they're doing well at. Maybe it's YouTube. No matter what it is, podcasting. I've had attorneys on here that have done something unique. And so I think it's just really finding what works for you. But it all comes back to what's that message? What are you portraying? And are you connecting with people or not?
Absolutely.
So I think that's the most important part.
Piggyback off of what you were saying as well, too. Like, I do want to kind of drop this nugget of wisdom as well, too. What I'm learning just from the experience and the different things that I'm reading, I noticed from my experience, especially starting out, I would try different things and see if it worked. I'd give it 3 months, a few months, and then move on to something else. But what I'm really realizing and what I want everyone to know is that, to be quite honest with you, most marketing methods, they work. Most of them work, right? It's just a matter of, like you said, which one you're going to choose and which one you're going to be consistent with. I think in the marketing game, it really is about consistency. How often are you hitting the pavement? How often are you grinding it out? And so, I always think, and I'm finding that it's just best to, there's so many different routes to get to the same destination. It's just a matter of picking that one route, owning that one route, and putting your blinders on. And this is the route I chose. This is the route we're going down. And we're not going to worry about what they're doing on TikTok, what they're doing over there on wherever. This is my lane, and I'm going to ride this out for a year or 2, 3 years. And then once you get bored, you find something else that interests you. But it really is about picking something and sticking to it.
Yeah, 100% love that. That's a great takeaway for anyone watching, to think just kind of like you, like you're going to be a lawyer. Like you're going to do it. Same thing with the marketing channel. Like, you have to own it. It's like we have this podcast here. Everyone listen, we got a podcast. And we interview attorneys. Well, we also happen to market for attorneys. So obviously that benefits us because we get to at least meet attorneys like Prince here, and we get to say, hey, this is what we do. At the same time, I get to talk and get these awesome stories and find out all these things about how these law firms are running, and hopefully everyone's getting something out of this as well. So for us, it's bringing free value and content to not just you, but everyone else tuning in. But when we said we're going to do a podcast, I mean, we're just like, well, we're going to just try it out. Like it's, I've been interviewed over 120 managing partners this year. And we were doing like one a week. I had 3 today.
Wow.
We have a whole like an engine behind us now, content, and we're adding more things to it. And again, this is one of our avenues, but it's getting to the point where it's just growing and all the benefits starts to happen. And so, yeah, if you try something for a month or 2 or 3, you're not going to get to that point. Like 4 months ago, I'd be like, I don't know if we should keep doing this.
Yeah.
2 months ago, I would probably tell you that, hey, this is pretty cool. It's really working out, and I'm enjoying it. And then today, it's like, man, we're crushing it, and I don't know how we're going to fit any more people in for October. It's just
right.
So now we're having other issues like, well, we only have 2 hosts, and we have 3 or 4 out a day that we can do, and then so now it's like bottlenecks, like what we do next.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to get to the point where you're like, okay, we got another problem, and it's it's working too well. How do we produce more?
Right.
So yeah, give it a shot, own it. You got to give it a certain amount of time, and you can't measure along the way, test, measure, tweak, but don't stop. You gotta pick what you're gonna do and say, I'm gonna go all in. This is my plan for the year. Track your KPIs, whatever you have, and make it work. You can make it work. I've heard attorneys be like, well, yeah, I don't believe in TikTok. It's ridiculous. And I might agree with them in some cases. And they're like, we just started doing it, and they're getting 1 million views per video, and they're getting clients out of it. So it's, and they were not a believer at all in what they chose to do. So, yeah, so awesome, man. I love it. I love what you're doing with the videos. What's your goals for growth over the next couple of years?
Yeah, so I think we definitely want to build out our personal injury practice a little bit more. I've been thinking seriously about starting a podcast as well. So just been kind of putting some things together for just like some new creative things that I want to work on and just kind of bring out to the market. So definitely building out the personal injury side, and then just slowly building up other platforms. Right now I send out a monthly newsletter. We're starting to really focus on the content on that. How engaging is it? How interesting is it? We're starting to just be more creative with all forms of content, and so that is what I want to focus on for the next couple of years, is just really bringing creative content to help market the practice.
Love it. Excellent. All right. Well, any other things you'd like to add before we try to go? We've been just a little over a half hour, so I usually try to get you out of here before that. But anything else you want to add?
No, just that, anybody that is, trying to go down this road or is going down this road, just stay consistent. Biggest thing that, the biggest themes for me right now in my life is authenticity, right? Being authentic in everything that we do, from interacting with my clients to how I market to, the content that I make, just being authentic. Aligning with some type of passion, right? I'm learning that you can get burned out real quick, but there's something about this idea of passion that allows you to go an extra hour or 2, and so that's like a little secret sauce. So identify yourself with some type of passion. And then, just more importantly, I think just really having a level of faith in the unseen, right? A lot of times what's seen right now is, oh, my practice is slow, or, oh, things are not working out, or, oh, this isn't working. But just always kind of having in your mind's idea what the end goal is, and always staying focused on that and not worrying about what looks like a challenge now, because in the end, what I'm learning is everything works out the way it's supposed to work out in the end. So that would be my big takeaways.
I love it. A lot of takeaways, people. Write them down. You have to rewind this episode. But no, I love all that stuff. We think the same for sure. And you can't get caught up with, what's happening in the news or whatever.
Exactly.
And it's easy to do. And, surround yourself with good people, positive people. If not, I'm going to be the positive one in the room if, worst case.
Yes.
And that's what I just try to do too. So, but I love your story, man. Everyone check out, again, his website. I'm going to check out your videos. I haven't had a chance to check out some of those, but I got your YouTube pulled up. So I'm going to check those out.
Okay.
And see what they're all about. And everyone else, check out this episode and others. We have over 100, I think 115 as of yesterday, 3 today. So if you're interested in being on the show, reach out to my team. We're looking for great managing partners to have on the show. We'll probably get more selective over time because it's just getting crazy. But arraylaw.com/podcast. Prince will have his own page here soon. The episode will be up on the podcast on every single platform, Spotify, Google, Apple, and many others as well. This will be on YouTube, so you can go check this out there. And then he'll be featured a lot in our social media over the next couple months as we get together our micro content. So we'll slice this up, repurpose it, take a lot of these nuggets and takeaways and get them out to you on other channels. So, if you need help with things like that, that's what we do. So we help with content, search, websites. We help our clients get clients. So that's really what we do, get their message out there. So if you need that, go to arraylaw.com, reach out to me or some on my team, and we'll be happy to help, even if it's to talk and answer questions. Prince, if you need help with podcasts, happy to help there too. With anyone out there that's trying to start a podcast, I'll give a masterclass. It's free. I just have the content. I've helped a lot of people at least try to get started on what they're going to do. So I'm happy to help anyone with that. And that's it. Prince, you want to stay on with me for just a second? Everyone else, have a good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. You got a lot of, few days left in the week. Let's go out there and crush it. See ya.